to keep it from being scavenged, to keep it from oxygen, which will just decay it rapidly. That's just
well, yeah, but oxygen doesn't decay.
Something laying out on top of the ground, or something, some aquatic thing just at the bottom of the lake, exposed, will not fossilize under those conditions. You need really something like a worldwide flood to make all those sedimentary layers and all those fossils, is where most of them came from.
Okay, but the worldwide flood theory opens up more plot holes than it actually covers. What's up, heathens? Today we're calling into the 855-4-TRUTH line. Now, this is a free hotline that's set up to where you can call in and you can question people about God, evolution, Big Bang, and all these other things. So they do preface when you call in that they may be recording you. So it's perfectly fine for you to record yourself calling in and everything like that. Aaron Raw has done it before. I've also done it before on this channel. So if you guys will, leave me a comment down below with anything that I maybe misspoke or didn't understand at the time. Generally, I find out a lot of things from you heathens, so please leave those comments down below. Today we're going to be talking about specifically, some stuff regarding evolution. We start off talking about, Noah's Ark, the flood, fossilization, and basically how mountains form. So I hope that you guys will enjoy this, and I will see you guys after the call.
Hello, this is Philip with Gospel Billboards. How are you today?
I'm doing good there, Philip. How are you?
Having a good day. God's blessed me a lot.
Awesome. Well, hi, my name is John, and I actually live in Alabama. And I saw one of your signs talking about did man evolve from apes, and basically saying that evolution isn't true. And I was wondering if you could have a conversation with me about that.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm wondering, why do you not think that evolution is a scientific fact?
Well, sometimes there is a little confusion on some of that. When you look at, excuse me, got a little distraction here in the background, but it's getting taken care of here. When you look at organisms, living things, it is obvious that they do adapt to their environment. That is scientific. You can see that. You can observe that. Testable, repeatable. And I don't dispute that. Speciation is a real thing. I personally believe that God created the various kinds in the beginning with the genetic capability to adapt to their environment. And so, God probably just made one kind of bears, and they've adapted to various niches over the years. And so you have the polar bears adapted to the north, and you have, the sloth bears are definitely adapted to a very different environment, a lot of them in between.
Okay. Well, I mean, what about the various species that are very similar to bears and that predate bears, and we can trace those back through the fossil record?
Like, what are you talking about?
Well, just the whole premise of evolution is that we all started out as a single-celled organism. and then through millions and millions of years, we evolved into the various amounts of life that we see today. And so in the fossil record, you actually have various animals that predate the bear, and that look similar to bears but aren't bears, but they're in the fossil record, and it all kind of flows together very nicely. But they all come from a like for instance, brown bears, polar bears, all the different kinds of bears, but also raccoons and sort of it's called a lesser panda. But all of those things all derive from the same like proto animal, and we see that evidence in the fossil record. So I'm wondering, like, do you mean that like God created that proto animal that evolved into bears, polar bears, and the different kinds of bears that we see?
Well, that is an ongoing area of research for those who do believe in creation. What must have been the original kinds, and actually, when you're looking for transitional species in the fossil record, the pattern is for them to be very few, and the ones that are there tend to be rather uncertain, rather than the transitional species to be lots of them. You rather find that what is found tends to group themselves very much into basic kinds, rather than just a smooth flow from one kind of organism to another.
Well, no. I mean, there's a gradual change, and we see that in the fossil record. Are you saying that the fossils that we see in the fossil record are only indicative of a very small population of animals?
No, I'm saying that is the story, but when you actually look at the details, the fossil record is, when compared to the theory of evolution, is full of gaps, rather than this smooth story of transition that is kind of promoted. When you actually look at the details, it's not there.
Well, I see. That's where I would disagree. I mean, you see gaps in the fossil record, but I mean, fossilization is a very specific process, that happens, and so
actually fairly rare.
Well,
takes special conditions.
Well, yes, it does take special conditions, and it takes a lot of time in order for that to happen. It
doesn't take a lot of time. It just takes rapid burial.
Well, no, it doesn't take rapid burial. I mean, if rapid burial was all that it took, then we would have a plethora of fossils, but we don't have a plethora of fossils. We have very small amounts of fossils. That's because as organisms died, it had to be those very specific conditions in order for the fossils to survive. I mean, like which
definitely has to include rapid burial, because when an animal dies, if it lays out on the ground, it's going to be either scavenged or it's going to decay and not fossilize. Well, it don't take long, and it's gone.
No, I mean that's not exactly how it works. I mean, you realize that the fossils that we find are not actual bones. That's right. The minerals are replaced. Well, that's how
through water leaching through.
Well, that's how it's sometimes done. Like the minerals replacing the components inside the bones is how it happens sometimes. But there's a wide range of different fossilization techniques, and none of them happen because of just fast burial. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, how do you rationalize the fast burial as being what is needed to fossilize something?
Well, the conditions at least have to include that. Because if something is not buried rapidly, it will decay. It will, to keep it from being scavenged, to keep it from oxygen, which will just decay it rapidly. That's just.
Well, yeah, but oxygen doesn't decay.
Something laying out on top of the ground, or something, some aquatic thing just at the bottom of the lake, exposed, will not fossilize under those conditions. You need really something like a worldwide flood to make all those sedimentary layers and all those fossils, is where most of them came from.
Okay, but the worldwide flood theory opens up more plot holes than it actually covers. Because for one thing, we don't see evidence of the amount of water it would need to take for a worldwide flood to happen, as it talks about in the Bible. It would have to rain so heavy and so thick that anybody on Earth would have been drowned just by breathing the air. Plus, like I said, there's no evidence for that amount of water being here on Earth. And it's actually like a lot more water than actually exists here on Earth. So, I mean, where did that water go if a worldwide flood did happen?
Well, there is plenty of water to cover the Earth. If the hard parts of the Earth were absolutely smooth, we would be covered, several miles deep with the water we have present today. Obviously.
Well, no, I mean, what do you mean smooth?
Well,
what do you mean by if
our Earth right now is covered about 70% of the surface of the Earth is covered by water now. Right? Okay. So, and at the time of the flood, it's obvious that the high mountains at the height they are now weren't that high. And you can go up to Mount Everest, and way up there you find it's limestone that contains marine fossils. It's obvious that Mount Everest was not always way up there.
Well, I mean,
you can see that. I don't even think you would believe that the marine fossils on Mount Everest mean that the ocean was way up there. It means that the rock that's now up there once was way down much lower, right?
Well, yeah, true. But, I mean, it takes a long, long time to, quote unquote, grow a mountain. So, I mean, there's no way that it happened in 6,000 years. It's not like the Mount Everest grew in a 6,000 period timeline, or that the height of Mount Everest has changed that dramatically to go from sea level actually below sea level, which is what you're saying, below sea level all the way up to the height that it is now in 6,000 years. All right, heathens, I hope that you like that. Now, just to add a little bit of information that didn't really represent well in the discussion here. For one thing, I wasn't trying to suggest that rapid burial uh, doesn't like guarantee fossils, or it's like not needed or something like that. That's not what I was trying to say. I was just trying to say that there's a wide range of different fossilization techniques. Rapid burial is kind of like this thing that creationists latch onto in order to justify a worldwide flood. I don't know if you guys remember hearing, but when he started talking about rapid burial and everything like that, he immediately jumps to a worldwide flood for explaining how everything was rapidly buried at one time, completely disregarding the geologic column. How we find certain animals at certain levels and we never find them outside those levels. He doesn't really have a good explanation for that, but we're going to go a little bit deeper into that in the next part of the conversation. So I hope that you will join us for that. Also, Mount Everest started forming about 60 million years ago. How mountains form is when tectonic plates collide into each other and they jut up, or something of that nature. So that's why you find fossils on the very top of Mount Everest, or you find things that would indicate that it was actually below sea level at one time, because it actually was. It was formed from material found below sea level. And science, uniformitarianism, uniformity, it explains all of this. It has explanatory power. So, the scientific description of it doesn't really fail, but I would say that the, just saying God did it really isn't a very good reason in order to believe something. So I hope you guys did enjoy this. Please leave a comment down below, and I will see you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice.